everybody. Welcome back to the Trial by Error Variety Show Podcast. I'm your host, Chaz McRab. With intro music from Boltaline. Today, the first episode of 2020, episode number 59, we are talking to our friend from the UK, Alice Cat. A new friend, not an old friend, a brand spanking new friend. She's got an awesome array of music, and we basically just scratch off the surface here in this episode. But it is a really good taste. However, in the future, we have more of Alice Cat to come. Let's just say that. And I encourage you to stick around after the interview and feature for some music news and some up-and-coming features. I promised you that this was going to be the best season that I was going to put together yet. And so far, oh my friends, it's shaping up. It is shaping up. Have you seen that scene from Ghost where Patrick Swayze's sitting behind Demi Moore and they're making that pot? And it's like there's a ghost there. Some spiritual things happening. Anyway, we'll get to it later. Enjoy the show. Hello.
Hi.
Alright, am I too loud?
Oh no, you're great. It's perfect. Yeah.
Okay, good. All of a sudden, I had like right before this call, I started getting this really weird, crispy sound in my headphones. Like the whole time I've been just sitting here fooling around, but it went away as soon as I made this call. So yay!
Good, crispiness gone.
Yeah, it sounds like we're on vinyl, you know?
Oh, very good. Very authentic.
Yeah, this is an old school interview.
Yeah, on a tape, not Skype.
Yeah. All right, so we're talking to Alice Cat. Alice, if you'll introduce yourself. You've got so much on Bandcamp that I was looking through, and I know you have even more on Spotify, so it's kind of hard to pin you down genre-wise. So introduce yourself. How would you describe yourself as an artist?
Sure. So my name's Alice Cat. I'm from Boston in England, not Massachusetts. You can tell by the accent that it's a British accent. But I do a lot of different types of music. Mainly it's a kind of like punk, pop, rock kind of feel. And then I also do some acoustic, lo-fi kind of stuff as well on a side project. But in general, I describe myself as like upbeat. And then lyrically, I try to touch on like emotional and thoughtful subjects as well, but then keeping it within the realms of upbeat sort of 90s girl band vibe.
Definitely. I got all of that. Yeah, you nailed it. You know where you're coming from.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. I actually discovered you through a recent release that you did with Liam Marsh. Is that right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Liam, yeah.
It's called Fine. All lowercase letters with a period. It's very hard to find, but you can find it in my Bandcamp collection. I went kind of searching for you guys just outside of that, and there's too many fine periods going on out there, which I'm not going to take from your title, but I was like, man, this would be hard to find just kind of on its own, which is just unfortunate because it's beautiful. Yeah, it's a beautiful little EP.
Interesting that you bring that up actually, because we didn't really think about the lowercase fine and the period after the end. We didn't think that many people would have done that, but I think it just came about because like we used to, before we became Fine as a project, Liam was actually recording a solo stuff for the Alice Cat project, and I always used to hate the vocals, and he was like, it would be fine. And that's where it came from. He always used to say it's fine, so we called ourselves that.
So it's organic. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think you need to think about it much. The people who are going to find it, they're going to find it, you know?
For sure.
So, I've really enjoyed just the last couple days sort of finding that and then digging through your Spotify and just hearing that punk pop, 90s girl band vibe. It was interesting because it's just such a contrast between Fine and your ability I like how you described yourself as upbeat, emotional. It feels like a lot of that stuff would be autobiographical if it isn't, just by how much emotion you put into it. And that's kind of what drew me to you and your style. How much of that stuff is autobiographical, if you
It's a
don't
big
mind me
one.
asking?
No, honestly, no, thank you so much for, picking up on that. And it's really, it means a lot that you see that, because that's something that I do feel very passionate about, putting that forward, and how maybe it defines me slightly from other artists, and that, my lyrics are essentially my diary, my journal. And I think that's why before I released anything for the first time, I was really terrified, because I'm bearing myself, my vulnerability to the world to be scrutinized. But actually, there's something very, very cathartic in being so honest with your lyrics. And I think, if you want to ask people to be honest with you, you have to be honest with them. And then that's, my songs are an open book to how I feel. Yeah.
Yeah, I like how you use that as cathartic because, in a way, not only does it kind of help whoever's getting the message from the music, but it also helps you to sort of work through whatever longing or just any emotional ties to any of those feelings through music. A lot of people on the outside get just as much from it from the people on the inside. I feel like it's really neat that you recognize that I don't really feel like anybody who plays emo would use it as a gimmick. It's not like it's a huge seller. I mean, it is, but it takes a long time for people to kind of like wrap their mind around your emotions and sort of tie themselves in. But I really like how you use that word because I feel like that's the kind of feeling I get relating to somebody. It just makes it so universal through that. And you put a positive spin on it too. There's always seems to be some sort of like way out of your longing. So
Yeah, absolutely. Like, that's again, like, it's so lovely that you can understand that, and that you've seen it. Like, even like with the set, like even in general, like my mindset in life as a person, aside from being an artist, is like, even if terrible things happen, there's always something positive. And I want to like leave a song taking the people through, this really dark place that you can be in, but actually there's always a light,
hmm
and a way out. As a majority of music, I do try and put that, as you've so kindly found, that nice spin on the end, that things will be all right, a bit of a light at the end. Yeah.
is that something you set out to do, or is that just kind of how you write? I mean, is that just kind of your perspective kind of flowing into the way you write, or when you sit down with something, is it and it's too sort of loose ended? Do you actually try to build it up to that point? Like, no, let's sort of figure this out here, and let's just not leave it on this note.
It's kind of like a jigsaw puzzle, really. Like, initially, lyrics are very intense, and perhaps, yeah, they can like be in a dark place and stay there. But then over time, when the song's being written and recorded, you actually process those emotions and you find a good place, and then like you can come back to it and kind of just tailor that in and add to it. Some songs like Placebo, that's one of the heavier ones, and there wasn't really much light at the end there, but sometimes you do have to just really hammer it in that things are terrible, just to get that release. But yeah, and on the whole, I think, and in my life in general, I just try and live that way. And it's good if you have a platform, to be able to inspire those values in other people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome. Who what kind of influences do you have? I'm sure there'd be a lot of people from your region that I wouldn't have heard of that I'd love to go look up. I'm actually really kind of into. I love Bright Eyes, for instance. It's one of the first kind of emo projects I got into a long, long time ago, before the
Yeah.
commercial excess, and that kind of just drew me into the genre itself, just the vulnerability and um, like we talked about, it never felt like a gimmick. It just felt like, hey, I've got these feelings. I'm working through them. There's got to be more people working through them. Who do you find that kind of inspires you in that way?
Um, Actually, like from UK bands, I think there's maybe not. I think mainly the people that I listen to, I guess, well, like, Avril Lavigne was one of my very early inspirations sonically, and just like the vibe kind of thing. But there have been, a few bands like recently. There's an Australian band called Tonight Alive, and their front woman is very much, expressing, being yourself and being open and honest in your lyrics as well. There's a band called Oso Oso, and they're very like kind of like upbeat and quite in depth with their lyrics as well. Yeah, there's so many bands, that are really great, but I'd say probably Tonight Live Oso Oso, Brand New are a very good band as well. They're more from the noughties sort of era. It's interesting. Like, I think a lot of different bands you can take different inspiration from. Like, there's this pop punk band that I'm listening to at the moment called Water Parks, and they're like this really like fun, like energetic, with like synth infused band. I think that they're from Houston, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's interesting to take different flecks of subject matter from different bands, and it's like, oh yeah, if they can do it, I can do that as well. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I love how there's so much more access to stuff like that. I mean, you're vibing on this band from Houston, and I'm vibing on this chick from UK. I mean, we're all just kind of. It's pretty neat how serendipitous everything ends up. Houston's a huge creative center for just about every type of music now. It's kind of bizarre because for the longest time it was kind of like this really staple for like rap, almost like that deep rap, that gangsta rap, And now it's like so many funk bands and rock bands are coming out of Houston. Emo, it's pretty wild. I need to go visit Houston again. It's been like 20 years.
I'll come with you.
All right. Yeah, we'll do like a free show week or something. They got to have something. How are you on the live performances? Do you try to perform with a band, or are you okay performing by yourself? What's kind of your medium there?
This is like an ongoing thing for me. So I've always just wanted to play full band, but circumstances have never allowed yet, or haven't been like the right people at the right time kind of thing. So at the minute I solo acoustic, and then sometimes have a backing track if I'm playing like a bit of a bigger show. But I enjoy playing acoustic and solo. It is nice you can really connect with your songs a bit more, but definitely being in a band, like having a full band, is definitely something I want to do in the future. I'm sure that when that's supposed to happen, it will all come together.
Definitely. Yeah, the struggle is real, trying to find a drummer to stick around. Those drummers are like the most gypsy souled people, like one minute they're in your band, the next minute they're just going to join the army for no reason. Twice that's happened to me.
I was going to say personal experience.
Twice, like, come on. But yeah, I'm huge into like live sets. There's so many times where I feel like, man, I go to way too many shows, but then I'm like, I'm not doing this. I'm just going to put my money away. I'm going to invest. And then I see a band that I love come into town. Like, all right. I'm getting the passes. I'm getting the meet and greet. I'm doing all this. It's kind of an addiction at this point, the live thing. I think what fascinates me about live performances, especially people who travel from abroad, is just that their music and their words and their soul just got them there. It's just that's kind of why I'm doing this in general. Is I'm so fascinated by this community of musicians and artists. I used to be a musician, not so much anymore. This is kind of my way of networking into that network. But as far as like how you see your future, I know you mentioned it will all happen when it's supposed to happen. Is there any push that you have, any sort of frustration that you have that's like, I want it to happen so that I can go abroad, so that I can go see the world, so that I can go meet the people who have heard my music in person? Is that something like a desire that you have, a longing?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like, it's always something that I'd love, but because the music industry, it's so difficult, and you can see people that work super hard for 10 years and they hardly get off the ground, and then you get like people that have been a band for 10 minutes and they just get snapped up that quick. It's just like, it's very difficult. And I think if you relax a bit more and just enjoy what you do, the opportunities will come to you. And I think, that's certainly my take on it. I know that probably a lot of different bands or musicians would feel differently in that, you have to push your stuff, you have to really graft and hustle hard. But, like personally, I just enjoy doing it, and I do it for the love of it. Like, I don't take paid gigs all the time, and the stuff on Bandcamp, it's pay what you want. So I'm not like trying to make a living from it. But of course, like it's anyone's dream, as a musician. I mean, yourself, like to be able to travel and play all these different shows. Yeah, for sure, I'd love to.
Yeah, I guess I asked that question because I hope that one day this podcast has the ability in the audience to kind of help launch a band. Someone like you who is having a hard time piecing together a band. I hope that this becomes a platform for people to reach out and say, hey, Alice, I've heard your stuff. I'm in your area. I can play bass or guitar or whatever, kind of connect people. That's kind of the big picture for this. So 3 years in, we're still on the ground level. But I feel like podcasting is much like music in the sense that you have to constantly be thinking about, how the industry itself or just how everybody around you is changing. You have to produce good content and you have to stick with it, I guess the big factor a lot of people don't have is money, The more money you throw at something, the faster you get promoted and kind of moved up into the ranks. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, there's the big band 1975. I think like the singer's mom used to be on TV or something like that. So it can kind of like, they're a fantastic band, but sometimes you need those little, like you need to be able to throw money at stuff, or you need to know the right people.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I think sometimes being a solo girl artist, like that's there are so many people out there doing that, and it is like you say, there's so much temptation to start writing how popular songs are in the charts at the moment, but you need to stick to your craft and be strong and true to what you want to put out as a musician.
Yeah.
And it's hard, but I think you have to do it.
It is. It's very, very saturated and there's so many people doing it, but you standing by your art and just, like you said, just relaxing, just having fun with it. I don't think there's any way to go wrong with that. A lot of people don't reach that mountaintop success, but they do build a cult audience, and they have people reaching out. And I think that's a really special connection to make to people. It's just when people are reaching out to you, talking about how your music has affected them this way or another. I think that's a really cool thing. So I encourage people to do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, Stacy here. Happy 2020. This is If I'm Dreaming, off of the album Happiness is a Mindset by our guest Alice Cat. Enjoy.
Hey! aching feeling that I won't make it through another day. You know we could get drunk again on the boat going nowhere. The sun shines through the raindrops and you throw your champagne and I'll say, this is it, this is all I ever wanted. If I'm dreaming, please don't wake me up. If I'm dreaming, please don't wake me up. If I'm dreaming, please don't wake me up just yet.
What would be kind of a bucket list of places that you would love to travel to?
So the States, of course. Like I'd love to come over there and just because you guys have so many like little bars and really cool little venues that would be so nice and just to like feel the general vibe. I know that I've read online that different countries have like different receptions and audiences. Like if you go to like Asia, like in Japan, like apparently people just listen and then politely clap afterwards, and they're like silent during your songs. And just maybe like some places in Europe as well. It'd be really cool to do like France, Germany, those sorts of places.
Like by
as well.
train, like travel
Yeah.
by train.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah, because you can kind of like connect across all the cities in Europe quite easily. So that would be awesome. Yeah, I think it's just finding that within yourself to do it, and it will happen.
How old are you?
I'm 25.
Let's say you look very young. Yeah.
Yeah. I've got a baby face.
Yeah. Well,
So,
I always look at people. I mean, look at how many successful musicians. They were successful in the '70s, but they're still on stage now.
yeah,
I
sure.
look at them and they're in their 70s. Willie Nelson, somebody who's like in his 80s, still touring. I always looked at that as even if I was 25, I'm 34 now. I would always say, if I just stick to what I'm doing and I get the make the right moves, get somebody who can book me where I want to get booked, maybe a manager to kind of help me get all that sorted out. That even if I got 1 or 2 years of touring and being on stage, I feel like that would be fulfilling, and I kind of cut myself short at that point just because I decided to grow my family a lot larger and became one of those people that's like, I don't want to leave anymore without them.
Sure.
It seemed impossible. Just 1 or 2 years on stage would do something for the soul, the condition of a musician's soul, I feel like. So that would just be great. Yeah, I don't see why any of that can't be done by you, Alice. I really don't. Like you've got such an ear for music. You've got such a way to put your words down into these forms, and it's so vast. It was just my mind was kind of blown looking through your collection. Like, wow, okay, and you're only 25, so I love that. I love the idea of watching you go from this stage till 2 or 3 years or 4 years from now, seeing you on a train on Instagram. Like, oh shit, she's doing it. That's really cool. That's
Yeah,
one of
you'd be right there, I'm sure. Yeah.
So what do you do for around music? Are you going to school? Do you have full-time work? Are you?
Yeah. I went to university in the UK, and I actually work in a local hospital.
Okay. Oh, so
Yeah.
you have a medical job?
Yeah. I pull shifts at the hospital there, nursing. So my
That's
music's
why.
written around that. Yeah.
Yeah, try to tour around that schedule.
Yeah.
But at least you will have the stamina that you need to be a successful musician. No sleep, right, for nurses.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Like, obviously, like my career is I could do that for the rest of my life, but the music side of the career, it's you have to sacrifice one or the other at some point. Like, because at the moment, like my career at the hospital is pulling over from the music side of things. Like I've had talks with people where they're like, I'll come to Europe for a week, and I was like, I just can't do that at this moment in my life. But like I say, like things will come clear, and what's meant to be will happen, I'm sure.
Absolutely. That's really cool. Do you have that philosophy, kind of everything is in its right place at the right time?
Yeah, for sure. Like, there's just so much. Like, when I was younger, I never used to believe in like fate and everything was a coincidence. But I think as you get older, you find your spirituality more, and certain things happen in your life, and you can sit and question why that happened to you. But once you find that belief that it all happens for a reason, and that it's to make you stronger, and that things will come at the right time, I think that helps you actually. Um, have a general, outlook on life and keep going with things.
Yeah, it's hard to call it fate. Fate, I mean, it's hard to use cliches in general.
Yeah.
But the more I've experienced life and all the sort of encyclic things that happen, it does feel like the universe is just constantly sending you these little messages to be like, hey, you're right here, right where you need to be. Don't worry about tomorrow. Don't worry about, I find that incredible. And to meet somebody else that feels like that, I mean, those to me are the woke people, not the people who like, oh, he said a racist thing, those aren't, those to me are just, people sort of using their consciousness. But, the people that do kind of have that philosophy that everything is happening right now at the right time, I feel like, those are the people that truly appreciate when something really does happen, do you ever grandiose? Is that the word? Yeah. Do you ever do that? Do you ever like imagine yourself a rock star, or do you just try to like just kill those thoughts? I mean, because it's fun too sometimes, but then at a certain age, you're just like, ugh, who am I?
Right, yeah. So, like, when younger, you like watch like MTV and Kerrang and that kind of stuff. And you just want to, you're like, oh, I want to be on a stage doing that, like with all those people. Like, of course, there's like, it would be so incredible to, play to so many people and have that kind of like lifestyle. And then, like, say you get a bit jaded when you get older, and you see like all your friends and your contemporaries like settling down, having a family and kids. And then I think it's like every musician must go through the same, like feelings and thought processes. But I think if you don't have too high expectations, my friend actually said this to me very recently. She said, if you don't have expectations, then you don't get disappointed, and anything can always just be great. So like with the music stuff, when I first started out, it frustrated me a lot actually, because I was like, hey, I'm like writing all this stuff on my own. It's like a full band stuff. No one's done this since like the Cranberries and Fleetwood Mac, and like why isn't it picking up? But it comes back to the just let it be, just do your thing, let it be, and it will come to you if it's meant for you.
Well, the answer, yes, but the answer is you didn't throw like tens of thousands of dollars at it to promote it.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
That's the only difference, because you can hear it. I mean, the production's so good. Even with your lo-fi stuff, I didn't have to like crank up my volume or anything. It was just like, it felt very well produced, and I saw it was on an 8-track recorder, the old school way.
So that's real thanks to Liam Marsh. Like, he's incredible. He just goes around with this little 8-track that he plugs in like everything from his catalog, like all his projects. It's all done on an 8-track. There's like literally no computer programming. And with my full band stuff that's under Alice Cat, that's Sam Luce. He's an insane like producer, recorder, engineer. That he lives quite close by to me. It's great. Like, I think it really does. You can have a good song, but if you have a good production on it, you can make it even better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has I listen to his stuff. I'm actually planning on interviewing him in the near future. But he's got so much stuff. I'm like, dude, I don't. I noticed he had one of my favorite bands is Blink-182, growing up especially, and he does that whole front to back album of Enema of the State. Just like, this is insane. The entire thing is so British.
Yeah. Liam's very good. He has a lot to say. He has a lot of feelings.
Yeah.
And a lot of,
I'm looking forward to talking to him too. He definitely, after your praises and knowing his kind of magical producing skills, I like to crack open those shells. I love people that use that old technology because there's nothing wrong with it. You know what I mean? It was always good for so long.
Yeah, I have another friend. He does like reel-to-reel recording, like on analog, and it's because like everyone has access to like Logic or what Pro Tools and that kind of stuff. these days. It's nice actually to keep that lo-fi analog sort of sound, and like, you know, we actually can make really great music still without all the stuff.
It still feels good.
Yeah.
I love that feel though. That's cathartic as well. Just taking the tape out and like edit. I used to make mixtapes, you know?
You're one of those guys. That's great. Yeah.
Yeah, totally. For all my friends, like, dude, I heard all these songs. You've got to check them out. And they'd come back and be like, I only like this one and this one. So I'd re-record over the tape with like, you know, the playlist that they wanted, you know? That was such a fun time. And then there was a time too where you could take a song like that you had heard and then splice in other songs right in the middle of it. And this is all before there was probably even laptops. I don't know. And you would just make silly songs out of those. Like, you know, you can cut up a Shania Twain song with like a Bloodhound Gang song and just kind of split the...
That's essentially like DJing, isn't it? Like,
essentially. But just with a tape. And you'd give that to a friend and just blow their mind like, here, man, I made you something. And they're just like, what is going on? All these mashups are bananas. As far as converting it over from an 8-track to whatever, that's where you would lose me. I would be hiring people left and right. Like, can you please make this an MP3? It's a physical tape now. How do you do that?
Same. It's like Liam.
Yeah. I need a Liam.
Yeah, I need a Liam. Yeah.
That's cool. So, how did you guys meet?
Well, it's quite a funny conversation actually, because Liam used to insist that we met in 2011, and I don't remember meeting him, but actually searching back through our messages, we like spoke very briefly in 2011. And then his other band, Bed Bound by Summer, his contemporary bandmate Kane, I'm good friends with Kane, and when I did my first EP, he showed it to Liam, and then Liam was like, I want to like record with Alice. So that's kind of like how we connected up, and from then on, and I find a lot of like, when you record with someone and you spend a lot of time with them, you get quite like a very like deep connection with them. And he's one of my best friends now, and I can talk to him about anything, and that's really great. Yeah,
that is really great. A lot of bands become like marriages, you know, obviously different types of intimacy, but just the trust and the communication, you know, it really breaks barriers for people. That's really cool. You guys met over music. Yeah. Okay, let's take another little break here. This is Universe as My Guide off of the 2018 release Everything is Designed, of course by our guest, Alice Cat. I've put links to all of the music, including the intro and the outro in the show notes. Don't forget about it. Enjoy.
Your soul move into mine.
bunch of questions, and I just left my notebook at home. I'm house sitting for somebody, so I'm just kind of like floating off the top of my head things I wanted to ask you. Is this your first interview?
Skype interview, yeah.
Okay.
And
Oh, you did a BBC thing, right?
yeah. So like those interviews, they're kind of like in the studio. You go in and speak to them, but certainly across seas, this will be my first one. Yeah.
How was the BBC experience?
Oh, it's great. Like they're really lovely people, and for the BBC introducing, they're mainly in London, but then they have different branches in each county of the UK. And so like you go to your, like my branch is Lincolnshire, so you go in and you like do the interview with them, and it's really nice because they're really supportive of the community and the local artists there. And even just last night, we were at a local gig. There's a band called the Vigilantes, who are from Boston. They're so good. They're going to do great. And it was great to like go to a gig and to see, like these are the guys from the radio, and like these are the guys from this band and this band. And it's just such a great feel.
That's really cool. Yeah, that seems to open a lot of doors for people. That introducing thing. That's really cool. I think the closest thing we have to that down here in our area is ACL Live, or have you ever heard of South by Southwest?
Yeah, South by Southwest. Yeah, I know that place. Yeah, it's a festival, right?
It is. Yeah, it's like basically it used to be a week. I think it's 2 weeks now of tech, movies, animation, and music, and it's just so many cool free shows and so many really cool little features. That would be something that I would suggest you and Liam maybe sign up for. I think it happens in March, but you would need to sign up now for next year. And I mean, I know it sounds crazy, but fly to Austin, Texas and perform. But there really are just tens of thousands of people coming in and out of these places all at one time, that if you guys have physical copies or business cards or stickers or anything, it tremendously helps people's careers. I mean, people get launched in South by, so you catch the right eye or ear of another band, and you kind of network, that way. And that's just a suggestion as far as a way to maybe introduce traveling to, and give yourself a year and a half to sort of figure it out.
Sure. Yeah, you definitely need some time, yeah.
But South by is definitely one of those things that's just blowing up. It's almost too big for its own britches, just because living in Austin there is a nightmare when you're trying to drive around. It's just packed. Music lovers from all over the world come and just sell out everything. It's incredible.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah.
But even with that, even like with like the ACL Live thing, it's just a really hard, I guess, platform to get on. There's so many artists in Austin and in Houston and stuff like that. So I guess the BBC introducing thing, it's really cool. Like you were saying, nobody's doing what you're doing since, the Cranberries, and like you do have like a unique nostalgic sound, but it also has a very, contemporary feel to like the message and, the vulnerability as well. And it's unique to you as well. Your voice is very unique. So, is there anything that I can help you promote, like one way or the other? What is something that I should stay on top of? Because I'm just looking through your stuff. Like, I usually pick 3 or 4 songs, but I'm like, I don't know. Where do I start here?
No, I think it's all just like promotion and that kind of stuff. I'm recording an album at the moment, so that's set for release in the summer when it all gets finished up. So it's a lot of like building and promo around that like time. I want to like start thinking about what I can do for like physical things and, like send packages out. And it's just like making those connections and getting like people to listen and, interact. Because like you were saying about the tapes earlier, like physically having the tape, I think because like we're so dominated by streaming and online stuff, you can't physically interact with it. You can press the play button, but that's all you can do. And sometimes like having the vinyl, having something that's like pressed physical that you can hold, like you can look at the pictures, you can look at the lyrics, you can read the footnotes. And that's something I think I'm very passionate about, creating a physical and visual as well. Music videos are a really great thing to do as well. So I guess like if we could just keep in touch like after this, and and I can send you over stuff, and you can give me feedback, that kind of stuff. That's
Oh yeah, of course. And I guess one of my favorite things to do here is see artists continue to put out stuff and grow, and I love to share it. I love to be like on top of that stuff. So yeah, send it to me first. I will put it on every platform that I have. I'm all about this, you know. I've been digging the music, so I want to see it get in the hands of the people that are going to appreciate it like me. So it's going to happen, right? It's going to happen.
It's going to happen. This is our look back to this moment.
I'm the same way though. When I get something physical, I always order the physical copy. I'm like one of the few people that still make CDs, or I mean, still order CDs. I know people are like, "Nah, we're not putting them out." I'm like, "Please make 100. I'll buy one." It's just that I pay more attention to it. You know, like when you put a vinyl on or you stick a tape in, like with your phone, you have a tendency to like, I got to put my phone up, you know, or it's kind of too distracting. You know, you'll be listening to a song and scrolling Instagram and you're just kind of missing the point. Whereas when you slip on a vinyl, yeah, you're kind of in that headspace, you know, fold back into your couch. It's a dying thing though, sadly.
We can bring it back.
Yeah, we can.
So like the rest of vinyl.
Not so much tapes though. I don't know how this tape thing's working out for people because my tape player continually will just randomly eat tapes. I'm like, this has never happened to a CD. You know. Now I'm gonna have to order another fine tape from UK. Yeah. It'll take like 2 months to get here.
Yeah, but it's still worth it. No, I think that's the thing. Like, once the demand for this kind of stuff increases, like you're seeing, like even in the last 5 years or so, like the demand for vinyl has increased, so more people make it. So I guess like if the demand increases for cassettes, like people will, it's just like, you know, people start making them again.
Yeah.
But cassette, I'll send you one of my cassettes. Actually, I've got one in my wardrobe up there.
Oh hell yeah!
Okay. Yeah, as a thank you gesture for the interview, I'll send you over a cassette tape.
Oh, that's really nice. Just do the intro. Do the intro.
All right, let's take a break. Well, now you made it go away.
I didn't make it go away.
And listen to what? You made it go away. I was looking at that.
Oh my god. This is the song Placebo off
you
of the album.
You said not to say this is the song.
God.
You were the one that I wanted for so long, but I always denied it. And now I'm cracking under the pressure because you're finding your way in. And now I'm losing it. It will take some time, but I'll be fine. You let me down for the last time tonight. And how I wanted to be the one that you always needed. You know it's time to be it. I see your lines and I see your lies and I see through all of it. I felt miserable for so long, but I always just hid it. The smile that you see on my face every day is just placebo effect. And now I'm losing it. It will take some time, but I'll be fine. You let me down for the last time tonight. And how I wanted to be the one that you always needed. You know it's time to be it. I see your lines and I see your lies and I see through all of it. Concentrate, see the light, dance over your grave, hard
when you release your stuff this summer, come back and we'll just do this all over again and kind of talk about what's happened between here and there, and of course the new sounds and stuff like that. So
Yeah, that'd be great. Even like just doing like a track by track kind of thing, and just I really want to like on the last album I put out. It was a couple of years ago now. 2 years ago actually, 2 years last summer, and I did like a track by track video, but I never actually put it out because I was a bit hesitant. But this time I'm just gonna just like go for it.
yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. That sounds like a lot of work you had to just
yeah,
put behind you.
yeah, yeah. Like things happen, and everyone's musical journey is different. But it's nice to have the space to not push yourself to record something in 2 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no rush. Oh my God, I cannot believe this is happening to me. Give me just 1 second.
Of course, yeah. It's the house sitting thing, isn't it? Like if you had your book, you'd have been like this.
Yes, it drives me crazy. I never do interviews without my notebook, at least so that I can, like, when I have a thought, I just write down like a keynote and I can look right back at it.
Sure.
Because I hate interrupting. But what I was going to say was one of the things that I'm going to introduce this season are listening parties. I wanted to kind of get together some of the audience that are here locally, get a physical copy of a few albums and hold these listening parties where we just crack open some wine, pop in a tape or whatever, and just discuss it afterward on record and kind of release. Right? So
it's kind of like a book club, isn't it?
It is.
Like
it's like Tape Club.
Tape Club, that's it. You should make t-shirts that say Tape Club.
Oh, totally.
I'd buy one.
If I do, I'll send you one.
Yeah.
And the first rule of Tape Club is you got to tell somebody about Tape Club. And you know what? While we're on, that listening vibe, let's listen to a new single. This one is called Temporary High.
Does it hurt to hear I'm everything you lacked? You were nothing but a temporary high, and the sun still hung from every lie. Forget the best in me that's dead. What was it that you said about us until the end? And I'm never trusting you
But yeah, I would definitely love to do something in that setting. I feel like that would be the perfect setting for it. Just get a good handful of people, have an honest review from a, you know, an objective group of people. So that would be really cool. Send that to me, and then we will do that. We'll do the review with our interview, so you can kind of hear some of it, and you can kind of like defend yourself or not.
You want to hear like people's reaction. Like I can remember, like I had one of my old guitar teachers. I think him and his wife were round for a meal, and I think she'd had a few wines, and I was playing my new music, and she goes, "I really don't like this," and I was like, "Great, you're honest."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Why don't you like it?" Because it all sounds the same. And I was like, "Well, okay, but you need to take that criticism as well. Like, it's nice to hear positive things, but you also want to, you know, like see what people want to hear, and like, does that sit with the sort of stuff you want to make?" And you know, it's like all kinds of comments are interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you can't please everybody, but also, you know, if somebody's saying, "Hey, it all sounds the same," maybe there's something you can do, you know, to remedy that. And it may not take a lot, you know.
Yeah.
I have that same problem. I that's why I have a hard time writing without a band, because when I'm writing acoustically, I kind of, just the nature of it, I'm like, is this the same? Damn it, these are the same chords. You know? But I do enjoy being with a band, especially with like 2 or 3 other guitarists, because I'm like, this is beautiful. This is nothing like I would have written. But yeah, that's really good that you can take that and recognize that, even though that lady sounds like she was probably being rude.
Oh, it's okay. It's all good. It's water under the bridge, and we're kind of still friends now, so it's fine. Yeah.
She's like, I've grown to like it. No. But some people you really just can't. There's nothing you can do. That was unfortunately my parents while I was learning how to play guitar. So.
Oh. So shut up.
Yeah. Can you put weather strip on your door, please, so we don't have to hear sounds coming from that room? But no, it got better. It got better. I didn't give up because I didn't like playing music. I gave up because kind of that same thing. Like, I don't have the money to afford to be, you know, recognized, I guess. Like, I'm a local figure at best.
Yeah. You know, sometimes that's just like really lovely. You sit where you feel comfortable, because you know sometimes you can lose that organic feel when you blow up like that. And I can't imagine the pressure as well. To, you know, to have something that I don't know how it is, but just from like guesswork, I think that maybe you feel more pressure to, you know, be a certain way, be a certain person, and you know everyone's looking at you and they're going to scrutinize everything you do and say. So I guess
and dig in your past, and
for sure.
Yeah, that's why I just kind of like to put it all out there now.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I think it was probably about 8 years ago, maybe 10 years ago, I heard it was a Childish Gambino lyric, and he was talking, I think it's in that song where it's kind of a monologue at the end of the song, and he's talking about this girl that he met on a bus, and he was very vulnerable with her. He fell asleep, and when he woke up, the other girls on the bus were making fun of him for being vulnerable. And so he's like, now I just put everything out there. There's no way anybody can, you know, middleman my feelings. Like, it's all out there for everybody. So, you know, that's kind of how I've adjusted my way of thinking about reputation in itself. Like, it's there. I'm not trying to conceal. I think it'd be worse to conceal it, you know?
Yeah, because you're only like cheating yourself at the end of the day. You know, you need to have authenticity, and no matter how much you try and cover it up, it shines through if you're authentic or if you're not. It's just one of those things, isn't it?
Yeah. And the people that are going to judge you and shame you, you know, that's a whole different breed of people. Well, that was a lot of fun talking to you.
No, thank you so much. I had a great time talking to you. Yeah.
Thank you for opening up with us.
Pleasure. It was very kind of you to reach out, actually. You know how I say things come into your life for a reason. I think your podcast is one of those. So
good.
Yeah.
It has to be, because I don't promote it.
Okay, great.
It finds its way to you. I have no idea how I've acquired the audience that I have, but it's literally global, and I'm so thankful for it. It's incredible. So it happened organically because people love music.
There you go. See, and that's the most special thing. You're not paying anyone to do stuff. It's just, you know, it's organic and wholesome.
People who love music find their way here, and they find music they love out of it. So
Yeah.
So I look forward to talking to you again in the summer, and I will send your praises on to Liam. I'll just let him know that you still like him, that it's all good. And,
Yeah. Yeah, we've not fallen out yet. We've not broken up yet.
all right, I'll let him know things are still cool. Alice, it was really great meeting you, and thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for your time. It was a pleasure.
Yeah, of course. Thank you once again to our guest, Alice Cat. You didn't have to, but you did. You took some time out of your day, and I hope that it makes a difference. I hope that everybody enjoyed it, and rest assured, I did. It was great. Honestly, seriously, that was an incredibly lovely conversation, but I've had her music on repeat for like 2 days, and I still am like, I'm hearing new stuff. It's just really awesome. So, you're welcome. Now, okay, let's get into some music news. As many of you may have heard, the legendary lyricist and drummer for the incredible Canadian band Rush has passed on. 67 years old, my friends, he ascends into the cosmos, leaving behind a legacy that is massive. I mean, 7 books about his travels with Rush, about just, being in the band. I'm gonna dig in. I'm sure there's a lot to hear from Neil himself. So he had some health issues for a few years, retired back in 2015. Billboard actually ranked Rush the 3rd for the most consecutive gold or platinum albums by a rock band. 3rd! That's insane, dude. Whew. All right, R.I.P. Neil. Say hello to all the other legends up there. Living legend right now. He's on tour. Our friend Mr. SHAWN James, kicking off his tour in Dublin, ending it in Luxembourg. He's going to be in Paris. He's going to be in the UK. He's going to be in Spain. He's going to be in Germany. Whew. Man, tickets go on sale 10 a.m. Friday the 15th. If you're overseas and you haven't seen SHAWN James, go. Oh my God, the dude, he puts on a hell of a show. It really is. It's so powerful. I've seen him probably 5 times. Had him come play for us. Had him featured on here. I can't get enough of him, dude. SHAWN, you're an incredible guy, man. I want to have you back on the show too if you're listening. Shh. Whispers. Also, our friends The Deer, they've got a new album out. If you guys haven't checked it out, it's pretty awesome. And but they're asking for some help. Okay, can we show some love? Can we do that and maybe fill out a poll? Follow them at The Deer Music on Instagram. Go to austinchronicle.com/music poll and click all of the artists that you love, but especially the ones featuring The Deer, because it would really help. So help them out. I put the poll in the show notes, of course. Also, last but not least, if you guys are headed out to Sweet Party or Utopia Fest and you're going to get tickets, go to utopiafest.com. At the checkout, enter code CATSKILLS in honor of our friend Booker Davenport. R.I.P. to you, my friend. Catskills is going to get you 10% off of everything that you purchase. 10%. The love lives on, my friend. We are extremely excited about up-and-coming features. Glass Beach, the band Ice Cream, Movie Club, Things Amazing, Sincere, Cowboy Irie, Michael Cornwell. Oh, it's gonna be great, you guys. Please, stick around. So much more coming up this season. So much more than I can even name. I wish I could just blurt out all the great things that are coming, but I just can't. I've got them sealed. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Please, my friends. Follow the golden